I'm going to show you a devastating attack by Judit Polgar. Before we take a look at the game, remember, if you want to help us keep the lights on in the studio, we'd be grateful for your support. Do check out the links to PayPal or Patreon.com down there in the video description. And if you want to subscribe, it's free to subscribe, and all you need to do is click on the button below. It's that simple. Okay, let's take a look at this game. So Judit Polgar against Shakh Mamedyarov. This game was played in the Bled Olympiad 2002. At that time, Mamedyarov was, well, let's say a very promising junior player, 17 years old, already in the Azerbaijan team. And the next year he went on to win the World Junior, and that was the start of something very big, as we know, one of the strongest players in the world. Polgar was a little bit older. She was at this time around about 26, 27 years old, and, well, already a seasoned professional. She started very, very young. So it's an open Spanish, which is still part of Mamedyarov's repertoire. He loves dynamic, imbalanced positions. And of course this also suits Judit, who has such an instinct for the attack. Judit really, the greatest woman chess player that's ever lived. And before you get back to me and say that Ho Yifan has bettered her best ELO rating, well, let me just come back with and say, well, when Ho Yifan reaches the top 10 in the world, then let me know, because that was Judit's strongest, highest position in the world. Top 10 in the world. She is still a phenomenal chess player. She's retired, but, well, I know from commentating with her just how sharp she is, what incredible talent she has. So this position is, it's already really mad, but it's actually one of the main lines of the Open Spanish. This move, knight g5, was first played in the World Championship match between Karpov and Korchnoi in 1978. And it was a discovery by one of Karpov's seconds, Igor Zaitsev. And they sprung this surprise on Korchnoi, who managed to hold the game, actually, to his credit. But since that time has become one of the main lines of the Open Spanish. The idea is if the knight is taken, then the queen can come to f3, exploiting the weaknesses on this diagonal. In fact, that is maybe the main line. I mean, many games have been played with this, but Mamedyarov played bishop d5, obviously preventing queen f3 and sort of trying to hold everything together. And now, well, several moves are possible, but Polgar, as is quite typical for her, plunged in with the most daring move. She gave up a piece, knight takes f7. She has such a desire to rip open her opponent's position. So if bishop takes, then you can see that, well, once again, black suffers because of the weakness here. So it's check and white wins the piece back. So king takes f7, queen f3 check. So obviously not possible to take the queen because the kings would be in check. And so it's check here, threatens the bishop. So that means the king has to step up the board to protect the bishop. And now queen g4 check. Now the best move is to go back to e7, which looks like, well, such an unnatural move. That was actually played in a game between Svidler and Anand. But even then, this move e6 gives white a really strong attack. But Mamedyarov put the king back to f7, which I suppose looks more natural because it keeps this diagonal open for the bishop. And perhaps he was thinking that the game would end in a quick draw by repetition after check and so on. But Polgar has something else in mind. She found a very nice way to continue the attack. Queen f5 check. If the king steps back to g8, then e6, threatening queen f7 as well as the bishop, is absolutely crushing. And, well, let's just have a look at this checkmate. You don't have to give up the queen, but I won't give up the queen. Why not? And mate. So queen f5 check. The king stepped to the side. And now this very important move, very similar to this Fiddler Anand game, e6. Opening up the 5th rank. This is the problem, that these pieces are hit. And it is already extremely difficult for black. So Mamedyarov took this. It's actually possible to take this knight straight away and just take the queen away. Also looks very good for white. But Polgar found an even better way for white to pursue the attack. So she didn't release the tension, but instead just piled on the pressure with rook e1. So she didn't go for the easy way at all. Rook e1. More pressure on e6. She's going for the kill. So the queen stepped up to defend. Bishop takes bishop. Knight takes. And knight e4. So now white pieces starting to all join in the attack. This knight comes in to aid the queen and rook, and this bishop is about to fly in as well. So first things first, queen is attacked. Queen e5, bishop check. King steps to the side. And knight c5 check. If queen takes knight, then queen e6 is quite a visual mate. I rather like that. So after knight c5 check, bishop takes. And now queen f7, of course. Possible to take the queen straight away, but Polgar plays the most exact move here, queen f7. So if, well, the king steps back, then yes, you take the queen and then you take the knight, winning. So king d6 played. And now we're in for a glorious finish. Bishop e7, check. And that was the final move of the game, or maybe Mamedyarov played king d5, but let's just go through black's alternatives here. So first of all, what happens if the bishop is taken? Well, we take this one. And then rook number 2 joins in, and it's checkmate on e6. What if the king steps back? Then, well, just a discover check here, and we take the queen. That will do. And king d5. Now this is really beautiful. Queen f3 check. If the king comes here, then we've got b3 checkmate. And if queen e4, yeah, I know we can take the queen, but this is like a problem mate. So c4. And if pawn takes pawn, queen e4 is mate. So we've taken away the c4 square from the king. And king takes c4, queen b3 mate. Beautiful stuff. What a killer. Hopefully I'll have time to look at some more games by Judit, because she has some spectacular attacks that are definitely worth looking at. So do check out the playlist for other games by women that I've recorded, and thank you very much for the suggestion to look at this game. And if you have any more suggestions, by games of games by women that you think I should be looking at, then do let me know. Thanks for watching.